Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of City Skylines here in our ultimate city. And by the way, we're giving it a name now. Enough people told me that Skylines Not Included is the ultimate name for this city. So here we go, we now have a definite name. Now, as it so happens, just when I launched the save game today, we ran out of power, and that is because we are using it all up, apparently. So I wonder now, could we just go ahead and maybe add some solar panels to the mix in order to gain a little bit more, instead of building a completely new wind turbine? One turbine on its own could get a potential load up to 5 megawatts, and if I just add the solar panel, then we gain an additional 0 to 2 megawatts, depending on the daytime, I presume. There's also the advanced rotor system that costs actually a little bit less, and we could just go ahead upgrade this guy here. Yeah, the upkeep actually went up to 20,000 a month from 15,000, so not too shabby for gaining this additional power. If we unpause the game now, I should be getting a little bit more. Of course, we do not trade. Well, we didn't trade either way because I've never really overproduced much, but I'm assuming we should go ahead and build this advanced rotor system for at least a second one of our turbines, and therefore we should be in the green quite a bit. This is good because today I would like to expand a lot more. Right now we are in a deficit again by quite a large margin actually, and the way we can solve that is by getting more people. So let's pause the game and think about our road structures a little bit. What I would like to get completed today is at least this part right here. So we have half of the outer circle already established. Now looking at my zoning here, we don't have the high density housing just yet. For that we need 2 additional milestones, but I think we're gonna get used to the mixed housing here. This way we get the advantage to zone commercial and residential in one go. But I think what I would like to see at this point is the roads not just going straight and beyond, but I would like to see a curve connecting to the next part here. So what we would have going on is this part going straight up, I think. Yeah, we would want to see something along these lines and then connecting straight over. So we still have the same thing going on as we do on the other side, and that's probably going to be the case all the way around the circle. Now I just need to connect this right. Yeah, that looks like we got the entire zoning available now. Now I'm going to take a small alleyway, and hopefully instead of connecting them straight, we can come up with a nifty curvature here. So we want to have this 90 degrees be in the center of this road and then connect to this guy here. Yes, that's approximately exactly what I wanted to see. This will give me the opportunity to maybe get some service buildings in here. Right now I just see this road here might have to be upgraded. Let me see if I can do this. We want to turn off all the snapping, and in this case I might be able to push it to the right a little bit to make it more centered. No, that's not exactly working the way I wanted to. Maybe I have to rebuild this road altogether. That could be. No, actually that didn't change a thing. Let me try to redraw this guy here. Okay, maybe we can work with that. This actually looks a little bit better now. Okay, now I'm gonna need an additional road coming off from this, and I want this to go all the way up to the edge here. Something along these lines should be good. Yes. Actually, let me upgrade this to an alleyway so we don't waste quite that much space. And I want this to go behind the houses that we're placing here, basically. Now, right next to the bridge, I don't want any buildings. I don't think so. So maybe we can just go ahead and connect this. But that is a little bit better with the zoning. Now I can have a building here, a whole bunch of buildings there, and then we're gonna leave this part free right next to the bridge. Okay, then time for some zoning. We don't want low rent. We want medium density, most likely in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and already zone this right now. Now it could be that this doesn't get built quite immediately because the demand mostly states they want low density. For that purpose, we're gonna build a bunch of suburbs and potentially even increase the size of the starter town. Slowly but surely, we're also getting a little bit more traffic. I might want to reroute the highways in the future to avoid this issue. Maybe even start connecting up the highway right here on the left side, so they have other means to enter the city. Right now, they can already do it via this highway here that passes by our wind turbines. Now we can see already a bunch of houses are starting to form, and it looks like, yeah, there's a good variety of it, and all the tiles are used up. So that means we're gonna get a whole bunch more people using our services and making them actually worthwhile. Okay, now I'm thinking we cannot always wait for the demand to come back. What I would like to do maybe now is start developing some of the suburbs, so we can start working on that. While we're waiting for the heart of the city to develop, in the map menu, let me just see, I probably want a whole bunch of these guys here just to be able to start with the first suburb here at the shoreline, and this is gonna cost me 150k, and I still have some permits for more tiles to be purchased. Now, before we get started, I would like to see a main road just following the pattern here, and this could even be a highway, to be honest with you. I think for now I'm just gonna make a 2-lane highway, or should we already upgrade it? No, this is just a highway along the shoreline. We're gonna do this with the continuous road tool, and I'm gonna get started right here. And now we just wanna basically follow the shoreline, not precisely, but you know, in a way that it makes sense. Maybe go follow along the coast here, continue over there, go up here a little bit, and then do a little curve like that. And this would then just be touching the edge of the suburb. And on the other side, we still have a way to build something with the beaches or the shorelines. We'll see about that. Then the next thing I would like to see with some bigger roads, let's go with medium roads, is a square here, a center, so to speak. I don't think we have to exaggerate with that. I'm just gonna go 112 meters in each direction here. And holy cow, yeah, the terrain isn't quite even here yet, but I do not want to level this. We have to work with the terrain as good as possible, but it looks like I totally messed this up, honestly. So now I have the square, and what I want to do is go into the center part, approximately here, maybe a little bit beyond, and we're gonna branch out here, but not quite connect to the road. I don't want these to connect quite yet. So this is kind of going to be a plaza of some sorts, and now we need to come up with a nice road pattern. This should be more or less organic. The way we build stuff in Switzerland is we don't lay out the roads first. We first build buildings either along already existing roads, or then we just build the road to get to that building. But usually we don't come up with street patterns like this, because that kind of needs to be planned before actually doing the buildings. So this is just going to be the centerpiece of our suburb here, and now we need to come up with some nice shapes in order to branch off from here. We're just gonna do 2-lane roads here, and I'm gonna be starting from the edge, but I don't want to use this edge here where we already have an intersection. We're gonna get started right there. So I'm gonna be branching off from here, and we're gonna take a little curve, and this is then gonna be my first connection here to the highway. It's not really gonna be a highway, it's more like a fast road. I'm also gonna branch off from here, and you have to imagine this road here is gonna disappear as soon as we have established the other connection, but I'm guessing I could do this right now. So we're gonna connect this, which means I can then get rid of this road here altogether. Let me try to accomplish that. Yeah, the delete tool is still a little bit finicky, but if we get rid of this part here, then they will be forced to use the other road. I can probably go ahead and already connect this like so. But of course, we're not quite done yet here. I still need lots more roads, so I'm gonna get started building them as organically as possible, while still trying to get a lot of zonable areas. So for instance, we can utilize this part here in order to get around and add more zoning here as well. There are gonna be a whole bunch of dead ends, which is absolutely fine, and of course also parks. Let's branch off from here as well, maybe get into there. That seems to be fine, and do another one here as well. This one is gonna once again connect to the highway to give us more accessibility. Then continue from here, going straight a little bit. So not everything should be a perfect curve. We still want the edges and sharp corners. I'm just saying in general, it would probably be a little bit more organic, at least with the vision that I have going on for this. I also would like to have another connection here. So this should be a small park area of some sorts. Good, one more branching off like so. This is going to be a dead end, and I think this is a good start to this suburb. I still have the space to then do something with the coastline, something appropriate. This is going to be a little bit wonky, maybe sometimes with the buildings. We'll see. For now, what I want to make sure is that we have hooked up the highway, and it looks like we don't. We need to get some services in here. So lighting, if we upgrade this highway with lighting, then we should be getting the power, and we only need to drag it up to this point here. Yeah, there we go. Power is connected. So all we're missing is the water connection, which I think for now I'm just gonna do like so, quite easy and straightforward. Good, now let's get started with a little bit of zoning of low density. That is what I want to see, and I want to get started right here. So I'm just getting these first few houses in the joint, very small ones, and then maybe a couple of larger ones here as well. And of course they start building immediately. Let's maybe also get a little bit of shopping in here. I would like this to be shopping, at least these 4 buildings, and then we'll see how that turns out. That actually reminds me, maybe I do still want a bunch of pathways, and of course we can always set them up in places where we don't get much zoning either way. So this could be a pathway connecting this as well. And actually, before I do anything else, I want to also check out natural resources. Whew, okay, there was nothing there. I remember there was some oil somewhere, so this might be an industry we want to build. Also towards the other side of the river, I would like to see a gigantic farming industry. But for now, let's get started with this part here. It might be a little bit wonky. Let me see with the zoning. No, there will still be a bunch of buildings zoned, so let's just keep moving forward a little bit. I changed a couple of the roads to be narrower, so we have a little bit more of a believable framework. Also started to zone a little bit of higher density in order to see whether or not they flourish here a little bit better. Now we're mostly done with the residential demand, also growing the city right now, therefore our income is getting better. But we're far from done, so I started to add another road right here along the Great Loop, and I also already started to zone a couple of things. Now one thing I would like to see, that is parking spaces. Maybe we can already go ahead and unlock that. Let me see the policies right now. Pollution management, we could actually go with that citywide because we aren't really producing any garbage we can take care of. So in turn we get less pollution. Right here in development under roads we can find parking areas, and I think I want to go ahead and unlock that, see what we get. That at least sounds really interesting. Parking we can find under roads, of course. There's a small parking lot. It's just lots. Okay. And there's also a huge parking building. Very large, medium, small. Okay, I can see this actually working. Let me build a parking spot right here. I might even want to add a smaller parking lot right here next to the road, and this is actually making people happier. And then I could even get a large parking lot in here as well. So this is still gonna cost me quite a bit of upkeep, but we could also increase the parking fee, interestingly. So maybe overall we are making money providing these parking lots, especially in areas like these. Yeah, right here, parked vehicles, already half of it is busy. Though considering you could have multiple bikes in one parking spot, now what you gonna do? Yeah, I think I have to swap the parking lot here. What if I move this guy? How much does this? Yeah, it's just 1k. So I'm gonna spend 2k to move it twice. But I do want the medium parking lot over here because it's utilized this much. And then maybe we can snatch this small parking spot in this place. In the meantime, the new district is developing. I think I'm gonna set up a couple more shops, like all the way around here. This can all be shopping. I want to utilize all of the spaces. Thank you very much. And then another thing we cannot be missing is a park. Let me see. What do we want here? I think I might have a dog park here, then attach a pathway. Gonna first come up here and then maybe just connect to the road there. I'm also gonna add a small playground here instead of this building, and then maybe a plaza. I think I might have to move the pathway here a little bit. Yeah, let me get rid of that. Add a plaza right here. We're also gonna get rid of this zoning, and now I can go ahead, add a little pathway here up to the playground and back to the road. All we're missing is a couple of trees and other decorations, but I'm gonna allow them to develop first a little bit. Should make them at least a little bit happier considering they have no other services. I'm gonna keep on zoning a little bit of low density here. Nice, looks like they left a little bit of space to connect the pathway, and I'm even gonna add a pedestrian crossing. I'm really looking forward to the point where we get access to stones and rocks. I mean, right now it's really restrictive, but considering everything, we could also just cheat by searching a rock. Well, I don't know if you consider this cheating, but we could possibly spawn in some rocks to make things nicer looking. This might really be worth it for the sake of the series. I mean, they have all these assets, why not include some of them? Ooh, space rocket. We could go really crazy with this mode. Maybe we have something in the boulder department. Okay, that is already much better, but I still cannot overlap the items. So what I meant to do is have the boulder here in order to cover this up a little bit, but it is just overlapping very quickly. So I'm still going to be extremely restricted. Yeah, and I cannot even place the rocks that close to each other. Like, they will always have some gaps gaps in between them. Well, at least we somewhat have access to this menu so that we can place boulders, but we're still not going to be able to be extremely creative. Let's actually see right here. I mean, I could every now and then have a boulder, but then if I want to plant the trees, it's still not going to do me any good. Can we do it with multiple trees? Maybe just add them overall here. Yeah, I mean, it's placing some trees occasionally. I guess we could start filling up the gaps like this, but I'm not sure we can make it any denser than just placing them individually. Right now, I'm feeling I'm not getting any new trees and it's not extremely dense. It could be almost a foresty area, but I guess we'll see how this develops once the trees start growing. Look at this, they still abandon. I'm not sure. I think we're not ready for low rent housing just yet. So I'm actually gonna dezone all of this and the low rent housing can go. We're now almost down 2,000 from where we started with our deficit. So it's getting closer to the 0 mark again, which is a good thing, and we're still growing. Okay, I was just observing my city, seeing it grow a little bit, and then suddenly something happened and all of my buildings now have weather damage. It wasn't really a natural disaster, or maybe it was, but it was just a storm. When it was occurring, I didn't realize it was that bad. Now, I'm not sure. Okay, it actually disappears all on its own. There's also a car accident. Okay, maybe they just had to fix a few things. So maybe it wasn't even that dramatic. Either way, we're now going towards the next milestone. We just require 2,000 more XP to do so. I think I'm kind of curious to start setting up an infrastructure here in this area where we have the fertile land. This could either be a vegetable or cotton farm, and all we have to do is maybe unlock 2 more tiles here and then maybe get started with a nice bridge here, medium sized. Actually, let's unlock a couple of things. For instance, roundabouts, I would like to unlock these and also the large roads. Now we have access to all of the roundabouts, so for instance, we could make a very large one right here. Ooh, actually that doesn't work. And also this isn't very large if you ask me. So maybe the really large ones we still have to set up ourselves. But now we also have access to large roads and new bridge designs. Maybe this is going to be just a little over the top. Maybe for now I'm just going to make this a highway bridge in order to get across rather quickly. Yeah, I'm just going to do something like this. Get that road connected as well. And then maybe in the next episode we can get started with that industry as well. Like right now I believe we could profit a little bit from more industry. Let me check the natural resources here. We will have some oil industry over there in the future. So why not go ahead and expand this terrain here a little bit and just set up a tiny industry to get us some more jobs. This doesn't need to be anything fancy. I just want to see a continuation of the road pattern here. And I'm gonna try to fill this up as good as possible. Let's actually go ahead and connect this together here. Maybe if we do that and connect you. Yeah. And now I can hopefully upgrade this without any consequences. Wonderful. And now what I want to see here is just a whole bunch of industry, and that is gonna actually cover a lot of the problems that we had going on. Maybe you can do this a little bit better. Yeah, that's much better. Now I got the entire area covered. This is gonna make sure that maybe a bunch of people also move into these houses. Right now they do demand the high density, but they're not actually willing to go there. I also started zoning a bunch of medium density housings here just at the very edge. Oh, that's crazy. People actually have to turn around if there is a car accident. Why would you turn around? There's no other way. This is actually interesting. Maybe we should have another connection here. Give me a highway. You know, just something simple, also hooking up to this part of the town. Okay, we finally had the police cleaning stuff up, and now Adrian has to walk home. I guess that was a DUI. And they can't arrest him because we have no jail yet. No, actually we do have a jail right here at the police station, I guess. We have 3 of 25. High density housing is abandoned again, but it reminds me we need more taxis. Yeah, look at that. We have all 25 vehicles in use. I think we're gonna add a garage extension. Oh, actually we already have one, but we can have multiple. So I'm gonna add another one and another one. Now we can have 35 vehicles. Looks like we have lots of people dying, but there seems to be a hearse dispatched for each of them. But what to do about these buildings? I just Milestone, no, they keep on building them like they want them, but nobody is ever moving in. Either way, I'm gonna allow the new buildings to develop a little bit, especially also the industry here. We want to get some of these to level 2, but this actually looks like a nice variety. Maybe there's gonna be a little bit too much traffic right now. We cannot judge it because it's all new and all the trucks of course were coming in. In the future there's gonna be a tunnel through the mountain here in order to hook up with the highway. But yeah, let's keep going until we get to the next milestone. Alright, we are back and we have almost reached the next milestone. There's just one more XP boost to go. As mentioned, I added some medium density buildings here. I'm not yet sure whether I'm gonna keep them, but right now that is not the most important part. What are we gonna unlock actually while reaching this next milestone? Let's just have a look at it. It's gonna be the busy town milestone, where we get some ore mining and gated communities. I'm not really interested in the gated communities, but the ore mining could be interesting. Right over here actually, and there it is. We got 1.6 million in the bank, 7 progression points, as well as some more tiles to unlock. So this is very good and handy, and I would say in the next episode we can continue, maybe first with the farming district over here, and of course still gradually growing the city. But with that out of the way, let's wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, have a great time, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.